Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Hi everyone, welcome back to Massive Late Fee. It is May 14th, 1994. My name is Mark. With me as always is my girlfriend Carol. How you doing, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
So we've had a good week here at Massive Late Fee. This is your one-stop shop for entertainment, TV, movies, news. We talk about it all, everything that's hip and happening in 1994.
Yeah, because we are, the pulse and the heart of the hip and happening scene.
Speaking of the pulse of the entertainment scene, Bob Hope, with his finger still on the... Well, he still has a pulse.
Okay.
That's good.
Right.
He's celebrating his 91st birthday, same birthday month as you.
Aw, happy birthday, Bob Hope.
They're having a TV special on NBC, a network he's long been associated with. And special guests are going to be Leslie Nielsen, Jonathan Winters, John Ritter, John Forsythe.
Wow.
They got all the Johns.
What the heck?
Angie Dickinson, Dolores Hope. Not sure why she's going to be there. That's his wife.
I figured.
B. Arthur, Betty White, Phyllis Diller, and Sugar Ray Leonard.
The Golden Girls.
That's right. Well, some of them.
Yeah. If I change my name to John, do I get to go?
Right. I guess, I wanted to cover this. This is not entertainment news.
Okay.
But I just wanted to mention, this is world news, but we are not a serious news organization.
Right. That
President Clinton nominated Stephen G. Breyer to the Supreme Court of the United States to replace Justice Harry Blackmun. Anyway, he's supposed to be a more moderate judge.
Yay. We
don't know exactly how he'll rule. It was in the LA Times. I just thought it was interesting.
Okay, but people aren't here for that. Move it on.
Okay, fine. Well, moving on then. Moving on to the next page. Los Angeles Times. Couple things. There's a story about David Letterman and his team going to local comedy clubs to search out comedians to be on his program.
That sounds fun.
But, next page. Well, lower down on the page. NBC is breaking up their Thursday night lineup.
Now that's some news.
That is news.
That's important news.
Written by the great Rick Dubrow of LA Times fame. That we've talked about a lot of his stories. But so now this is what they're doing. I guess Frasier's been a hit for them.
Yeah.
And they're moving Frasier and Wings to take on ABC's lineup. Roseanne. They're going to put Frasier up against Roseanne.
Oh, fuck them.
So you gotta choose now.
No!
Well, then the only other solution for you is to have another TV in the house with a VCR attached to it and record Roseanne on tape while watching the other one.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Well, that's how you're going to have to do it.
Oh, God, how do we choose? It's like Sophie's Choice.
Well, I mean, Roseanne's... It's been around for a while, and... I don't know. It seems like the quality maybe is not as good as it was.
It is, too.
Frasier's a really good show.
It is.
But this is exactly why they're doing this.
Roseanne has my heart, though. I've been watching that since I was a kid.
Yeah, but Frasier's got your head. Because it's the smartest show on TV. But, yeah, it's going to be a tough choice. But they want, obviously, ABC, has got a stranglehold on Tuesday.
Right.
And NBC had this big Thursday night lineup that they've been going on for a while. It started with, Cheers and The Cosby Show way back when. Now Cheers is over, obviously. But they really owned Thursday night. They want to own Tuesday night, too, apparently.
Greedy sons of bitches.
I wonder if ABC will move Roseanne. Do you think they'd ever do that?
I guess it depends on how much it hurts their ratings.
They could move it to Wednesday, maybe?
Yeah.
The day in between?
Yeah, I mean, if they move it to a spot when they're already not getting much traffic.
Well, and NBC's got Seinfeld for Thursday.
Right.
They've got a pretty solid Thursday night lineup without Frasier and Wings. So if they move Frasier and Wings to Tuesday, it's like they're trying to make another Thursday night lineup.
See, I don't care about Wings. I really don't.
I love Wings.
I know you do. I don't.
The Chapel Boys?
Kind of boring to me.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry.
Well, I like the show. But Frasier.
Frasier is awesome.
How are you gonna choose?
I don't know.
Anyway. Another thing too, real quick. The Violent Femmes are moving to a new label.
I love the Violent Femmes.
Yeah, they've changed their lineup a little bit. They've gone from Slash Records to Electrica.
I like that name. It's pretty. It's like my AOL name, Romantica.
Yeah. Look her up on AOL.
It's Romantica 6.
Actually, don't. I don't want anybody. I don't no ASL for you. No age, sex, location for you. I don't want guys hitting on you on there.
Why? I mean, it's the internet. What does it matter?
What is it? You don't think it's cheating if you're talking with somebody or flirting with some guy on the internet?
No.
Well, then I guess you're not going on the internet anymore. If that's your attitude towards it.
It's a computer.
But you're talking to a real person.
Are you?
Not like you're talking to a
really?
robot.
I mean, it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, you're talking to Skynet.
Yeah.
From Terminator 2.
There you go.
No. That was sarcasm. Not agree with me. You're not. No, so it'd be okay if I flirted with girls on the internet.
Yeah, because you're not actually going to see them. You're not going to do anything with them. You're just talking to them. What does it matter?
But then they could be like, hey, let's meet up.
Well, okay, first of all, how often do you talk to people who are actually local? Almost never.
Sometimes, though.
Well, if you met up with them, that would be cheating, and then I would kick your ass.
I think it's a bad road to go down.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's talk about this.
I'll tell you
offline,
what, if this internet thing ever catches on, I can see it being really bad for relationships.
We'll see.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for the entertainment news. I just wanted to mention, too, that I've been watching Weird Science on USA Network.
Oh, okay.
I like that show. I'm not going to talk about an episode right now.
When is it on? Do you know?
It's on at night. I think it's on at 8 or 9. They rerun it all the time, though. Because it's not like USA's got a ton of original programs.
Okay. So, this week, we watched together 90210.
Our continuing series on 90210.
Yeah. This episode's called Vital Signs. And it starts out with Andrea having this nightmare where she can't find her baby. And the baby's just crying and she's wandering around. And okay, so then she wakes up because she has an alarm set to take a pill. Who does that? That's awful. Oh.
I guess she has to take them every 4 hours.
That's awful.
That's what she said in the episode.
That seems like sleep deprivation torture.
Probably really good when you're, having a at-risk pregnancy too.
Right. So, okay. She's supposed to be on bed rest, right?
Yeah, that's what they said last episode.
She gets up out of bed and comes and talks to Jesse. Like, stay in bed, you whiny bitch. I don't know why she keeps getting up. Alright, so Jesse's working on building the crib. And she's like, well, you've got a week to finish that, but your midterms are now. How do you know? You don't know how long you have to finish a crib. Like, babies can come at any point.
That's true, but also, does it matter? The crib doesn't need to be done even when the baby, arrives home.
Yes, it
necessarily.
Does. Where are they going to put the baby?
Well, they could buy like a pre-made bassinet or something like that.
They're two broke college students. They don't have money to buy another one.
We'll just put the baby on the bed.
Oh my god.
What? You can't put babies on beds?
No, not to sleep. No, I mean you could roll over them and smother them.
I didn't say sleep with the baby.
And the baby could roll. Well, I guess the baby doesn't roll when it first is born. I don't know. Anyway.
You just put the baby in the middle of the bed and you just go do whatever you have to do for the day.
I don't think that's how it works.
Well, we're probably not ready to have kids.
No, we're not. So, okay, so in the episode, it's Mother's Day. Speaking of Mother's Day, did you do anything this weekend for your mother?
Yeah, I got her a card and took her out to dinner.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Yeah, my mom and I had brunch at Hudson's.
Okay.
You know, and we got to sit in that little thing where you can, like, look over the edge and see people walking around the mall.
Yeah, that's nice.
I love it. Okay.
Did you get a popover?
I did.
Those are good.
You know I love popovers. Okay. So, Erica, Dylan's little sister, comes running in his bedroom when he's asleep in bed with Kelly.
Oh, this is the little kid with the face of a 60-year-old woman.
She does have a weird face.
She does. And she looks like a 60-year-old on a 10-year-old's body.
Right. But, I mean, you don't run in somebody's bedroom like that. Like, Kelly even says, like, we could have been making love. And,
yeah.
You know. But she's all upset because she thinks that she heard her mom and her stepdad. Are they married now? Or just engaged?
I think they're engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, Geraldo Rivera.
Right.
And her stepmom, or her mom.
Talking about moving to, she thinks, South America.
Right. Brazil.
Right. So...
she doesn't say that.
No,
but...
she says South America. So she gets Dylan out there, and get this, she informs him that her mom and the other guy are in the living room.
Yeah, they've just come into the house.
They just let themselves in. Who does that?
I don't know.
I mean, they're not even related.
Yeah, the relationship is tenuous at best, I guess.
Right.
She was with his dad, and then she had a child with his dad.
Yeah. But they weren't married or anything. She was never like his stepmom.
Right.
So this is his half-sister. It's awesome he's having a relationship with his half-sister. I commend him and the mom for making that happen. But yeah, you don't just walk into somebody's house when they're sleeping. And then Brandon's getting all freaked out because he...
You don't want to resolve the South America
thing? I'm sorry. So, yeah.
Just going to skip by that.
So Dylan flat out asks them, hey, I heard a rumor you're moving to South America. And they're like, well, no, we might move to the Southwest.
Right.
The
Southwest of America.
Right.
That sounds the same.
Which, isn't California the Southwest?
No.
I mean, I know it's the West.
California's the West Coast.
But, I mean, if they...
Don't ever let a Californian here call it Southwest.
What's the difference, though? I mean, really?
Well, okay, so in California there's beaches and palm trees and, actual grass. And in the Southwest, there is desert and rock and mountains. There are mountains that separate the Southwest from the West.
Oh, okay. We'll see that helps.
The Sierra Nevada Mountains.
Thank you. There's the answer to my question. There depends on what side of the Sierra Nevada mountains they're on. Then.
Right. California is technically a valley, which is why there's so much smog.
Okay. So, anyways, they're talking about maybe moving to Arizona.
Correct.
Which, depending on where they live, where is Beverly Hills? See, I don't know how far away these.
Beverly Hills is in. I think it's in Beverly Hills County. I don't think it's Orange County. I think Beverly Hills has its own county. It's near Los Angeles. It's basically a posh suburb of Los Angeles.
So, like, how far away is Arizona from there?
Well, Arizona's a big state. Depends on where you are. But if you're in the northwest part of Arizona, the part that's by Nevada, it's probably around a 4 or 5 hour drive. So,
yeah, that's.
I mean, even any place in Arizona is going to be, 5-6 hours, not much more than that.
So, like, they could still see each other, but it would be hard.
Yeah, they could definitely come, on weekends, things like that.
Right.
You can get flights too from Arizona
right.
to. The flights are like an hour, or something like that. Not very long flights.
Back to Brandon now. He is all excited because he's supposed to be going on this trip to D.C. where he gets to meet the president, one of the delegates for the chancellor.
Right. President Clinton, presumably, if it's the real life president.
But there's this weirdness going on through the whole episode with him and the chancellor, where the chancellor is super busy and keeps blowing him off, and the secretary keeps not letting him see him.
Correct.
And his name was left out of the program where the list of the delegates going were, and then he didn't get his airline tickets.
Correct. Well, remember last episode when he talked to the chancellor about his daughter, Clarice, or whatever it is.
Claire.
That she basically laughed in his face and said he was screwed. So this is apparently the fruition of that.
That's what it would seem. So, okay, now we're back. I took notes here, people. I took actual notes, so I'm going to be...
That's why it sounds like she's lurching from one thing to another.
Because it's what the show does. So, okay, so with Andrea, she goes to the doctor and says that they tell her that she has excessive amniotic fluid and that, I guess, the pills aren't working. She's dilated more, and they want to admit her to the hospital.
Why don't they just drain the fluid?
I don't think it works like that.
You can't just, like, put a keg, like a tap up there and just drain some amniotic fluid out, and it's like, oh, levels are good now.
Yeah, no.
Oh, all right.
Now, she mentions, though, this is another thing that bothers me. They were supposed to start Lamaze class that night. Bed rest. What happened to bed rest?
That's a good point. I didn't even catch that.
I mean, it's like she was hell-bent on not resting. Okay, I'll skip ahead. We can finish Andrea, and then we'll go back.
If that's what you want to do. I mean, they go to the doctor, and the doctor tells her that the amniotic fluid thing, and that she needs to be admitted to the hospital.
Right.
Because the baby's probably going to be premature.
So then she's, blaming herself, like I think most women do when
she should. She shouldn't have gotten pregnant when she was 50 years old.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when she was, in college, but sure. And Jessie did finish the crib, so they're talking about, we're going to bring our baby home to the crib. Well, in the end, they're talking about doing an amniocentesis and
they want to check
for birth defects.
Right. Because the baby's almost here, so might as well see. What are they going to do? Are they going to get an abortion?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
She's 27 weeks pregnant. I don't know all the laws about abortions, but I'm pretty sure, even in liberal California, that 27 weeks is too late.
Yes.
So, why? And he doesn't even explain why. He just says, we're going to do an amnio. And they ask why.
Right.
And then he tells them, and they're like, well, no, we're not going to do that.
Did they say they weren't going to do it? I thought they just said, we're not going to think about it.
I think she just said, we don't care if there's birth defects.
Okay. Yeah, like, seriously, it's just more things to worry about. So, okay, so then she, Donna comes to see her and brings her some book about, like, white light and positive thinking and, it's all new agey shit.
Oh, God, yeah, I hate those things.
And tells her to visualize pink around the baby because that's love and the baby will know it's wanted. And it just made me want to gag. But then Andrea has a dream where she finds her baby that she couldn't find before, and it's surrounded in pink light.
Yeah, and she's holding it in her hands, and the baby looks like a normal baby, in the coloration and the face and everything, but it looks like a Lego person or something. It'd be that size in her giant hands, or maybe it's God's hands. I don't know.
It looks
that will come
bizarre.
up. God's hands will come up later.
This is true
in this episode.
The hand of God. Okay, so she ends up, of course, before the episode is over, going into labor, and that's how it ends. Is that she's going into labor and just freaking out.
Yeah.
And saying, no, this isn't supposed to happen. And
in the most ridiculous, over-the-top, no, I can't, no. It was terrible. It was, I know you cried, but I didn't
cry. I got a little teary. I did not cry.
It was the most overwrought, ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was a little over the top, I guess.
And it was horribly acted.
But it's just mean to be like, oh my God. So, okay.
Is it? Is it mean to be like, oh my God?
When she is going through something traumatic and she's freaking out and you're making fun of her.
But here's the thing. She's not. She's acting in a TV show like she's going through it. And the suspension of disbelief of a TV show is, if you do a really good job, you think to yourself, this person is really going through this thing. And then you form an emotional connection.
Like I did.
And then things like that can actually affect your emotions. But when it's so badly acted and so over the top, it's just a constant reminder of you, like a fist against the back of your head. This is just an actress, just playing a role. That's why I didn't emotionally connect with it at all. Sure, the situation is a dramatic situation that could, make you feel things, but you have to actually perform it well in order for that to happen.
Okay. I wonder then, why did I form the emotional connection?
Because your standards are much lower.
Well, I am dating you.
Yeah, I knew I was setting you up for that.
All right.
Yeah, not for long with all your flirting on the internet.
Oh, come on. I don't do it. I'm just saying I don't think it's cheating.
I think you're wrong.
So seriously, you think people should break up because they're flirting on the internet with people they don't even know?
I think if you're flirting with other people on the internet, that it's a symptom of something more wrong with the relationship. That's my opinion.
I guess. Okay, so now we're going to move into the play, which was the main topic of the last 2 episodes.
And given almost no screen time in this episode.
Yeah.
We never see her act in it.
No. We get to see the standing ovations, though. I mean, it's obvious she's doing a great job. Steve won't go see the play because he feels like that's a betrayal to Laura somehow.
Steve has absolutely nothing. First of all, where is Laura? I bet we never see her again because she went to a sanitarium or something.
In Fresno. No, remember, he was packing up her things to send back to Fresno because her parents asked him to do that for them.
No, I forgot.
And they said this is not the first time she tried to kill herself, so she's going to be under someone's care for quite a while.
Yeah. So, Steve didn't have anything to do in this episode, really. Right. And apparently the writers hate Ian Ziering as much as we do, or as much as I do anyway. So they were like, what's the thing that we could do when he really doesn't have anything to do that makes him look most like a dick? Because that's apparently the question they always ask when they write anything for this character. So they're like, okay, well, let's just say he refuses to go see Brenda in the play. But we'll make it out of guilt. He has 2... Ian Ziering's character, what's his name? Steve?
Steve, yeah.
Steve has 2 modes. Complete asshole or complete moping, feel sorry for myself dick.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 modes of his character. Apparently those are the only thing the writers know how to write for him.
Yeah, and he's kind of a doormat.
Yeah.
He really does get... For all the, shitty things he does to people, he still gets pushed around a lot. So Dylan... Well, let's back this up. Brenda gets a present before she goes out to perform the first night.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So this is the actual meat of the story right here.
Yeah. And that director is so creepy, by the way.
Yeah, he is. Well, you said he was good looking last week.
He's still good looking. I'm not saying he's ugly. I'm saying he's creepy.
Why do you think he's good looking?
I don't know. I just do.
The long hair and the goatee?
I guess.
You can barely see his face.
Well, maybe then I wouldn't think he was good looking if I could see his face. Whatever. Anyway, he's lurking around. She's getting ready for the play. He's like, oh, I thought I was the only one who got here 2 hours early. And then he's all hovering around her. He does that close talk.
He does.
It seems like he's trying to seduce her all the time.
I guess. I think he has one of those personalities.
Yeah, and he's always kissing her on the forehead and the cheek, and I don't know, it's just weird.
Well, the guy's actually a pretty good actor. One of the only good actors in this show.
But this present, he explains, is the patron saint of actors on a necklace, and talking about how
it's a medal. It's a medallion.
Yeah.
It's so Carol is not Catholic, so she doesn't know these things.
This is true. I am not.
But the patron saint of travelers is Saint Christopher. So sometimes people will hang a St. Christopher's medallion from their car.
Okay.
The rear view mirror of their car. It's on a simple silver chain. It's a little silver medallion embossed or engraved with St. Christopher. This is Saint August, I don't know, something that starts with an A.
I couldn't pronounce it, so I didn't even try to write it down.
But that's this patron saint of actors, apparently.
And the director guy, like, he's like, that has to be from someone really special. And then she turns it over and you see it's from Dylan.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, it is.
That is about the caliber of her acting.
So, then, we see that she did a great job. She's getting the standing ovation. Dylan's with Kelly and his little sister and the little sister's mom, and we'll just call him Dad to make life easier. Mom and Dad. And he's going on and on about, oh, how great Brenda was. Didn't she do so great? And I don't know. I think Kelly looked a little green.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's weird considering this child that looks like an old woman and Andrea, who also looks like an old woman. I'm sure she's younger than she looks. Did they do some of this casting in like a nuclear facility where people had suffered radiation damage?
What? I mean, no. You're being a little harsh, man. You're harsh in it.
Okay.
And then with the little girl Erica, I guess the 60-year-old woman on a 10-year-old, whatever you want to call her.
Correct.
She's over with Brenda and some other people talking.
She looks like she saw the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh my god.
That's what her face looks like.
What is wrong with you?
Well, I'm just saying.
She's got a lot of freckles.
She does.
I mean...
That helps. If only she had so many freckles that all you saw was red.
Oh. Wow. Remind me never to get on your bad side.
Just red and two eyes.
Anyway, Dylan...
She had cataracts.
Oh my god. Let me know when you're done, okay? Let me know. I'm just gonna sit back and drink my coffee. Crickets, okay.
Let's go.
He makes a comment that Erica always wanted a sister. Well, she's over there with Brenda. To
right.
Kelly. What is wrong with him?
What?
Like, is he trying to make her jealous?
What are you talking about?
Dylan.
Repeat that again.
Dylan says to Kelly.
Right.
While watching Erica, oh, I'll have to drag her away from the party. She's always wanted a sister. Well, she's over talking with Brenda and a bunch of people.
Oh, I didn't pay full attention to this episode. I thought that he was talking to Kelly, basically saying to Kelly, hey, she wants a sisterly relationship with you.
No.
Okay.
He was talking about how attached she was getting to Brenda.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense with the way this episode went then. Yeah.
And then there's a little scene where Brendan is stalking...
Is his name Brendan or Brandon?
Brandon. I don't know why I call him Brendan.
Okay.
Brandon. Brandon is stalking the Chancellor now. He is literally hanging out in the parking lot waiting for him to come to work so that he can cut him off before he gets to the office. That's just messed up.
Well, he tried to talk to him at the play.
Yes.
Because he was at the play and he's talking to a bunch of delegates. Just people dressed in stereotypical, like African robes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the hell he does or what CU. I'm guessing that stands for California University.
I don't know.
But anyway, I don't know what they do or why he's talking to these people, why they have a delegate in Washington. I don't understand any of this because it's just a college, I thought.
Right.
But yeah, Dylan tries, or Brandon, what's his name? Brandon? Brandon tries to chase him down, and he sort of looks at me, he's like, oh, your sister was really good in the play. And he's like, yeah, but I want to talk to, he's like, oh, I don't have time. I'll be swamped all this week or whatever. And then,
yeah, he says, oh, I'll see you tomorrow. And he stops, comes back and says, I'll be very busy tomorrow too.
Yeah, very seriously he says this.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's not looking good for Brandon. But while he's there, again, stalking the Chancellor, waiting, Kelly, which, by the way, take a hint. But Kelly is there and sees him, and they're talking, and it kind of seems like they're flirting.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I don't know what's up there. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of sexual tension in this episode.
Did they ever date? Because I haven't watched the show.
I think so. I think they did, like, in the beginning of the show.
Because if I was casting this show for couples, like let's say, I don't know, young couples or married or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it was a totally different show. Let's say I was casting it. Those are the two I would put together, and Brenda and Dylan are the two I would put together.
Based on personality, looks?
Just based on looks. They look like a couple.
Yeah, I can see that, because the one's darker and the one's lighter. And
yeah, they look like... those two groups look like couples.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Kelly always, through this whole episode, to me, looks pissed off, except for that scene.
Yeah, she's making faces the entire time.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I feel like I'm missing some inside, like, joke or some inside slight that...
I think she's just a bad person. I don't think she doesn't seem to be very happy. She's not supportive of the Geraldo Rivera wanting to clean up the environment. She just, I don't know, she just seems down on everything. Like, really absolutely does. Everything.
Yeah.
She does not shine in this episode.
No, I mean, she is annoying the hell out of me, honestly. And I usually like Kelly. So Dylan is trying to get Brenda's dad to invest in Geraldo Rivera. God, I should have written down his name. In his company.
He looks like Geraldo Rivera.
But he's not.
With the glasses and that big bushy mustache.
Right. So Dylan's trying to get the Walsh's dad to invest in his company so that they don't have to move to Arizona. Because the whole thing is he's having trouble getting investors that want to start a company in California.
They say he's a CPA. At one point in this episode, they say he's a CPA.
The dad.
Yes. I don't know if the mom does anything or not. But do CPAs really make that much money?
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess in California, he's probably got some really rich clients or something.
I mean, I'm sure they don't all make that much money, but
because they have an enormous house in Beverly Hills in California.
Right.
That house is like a $2 or $3 million house.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's $1 million houses in California that are like 800 square feet. So I'm sure that this house is incredibly expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and they obviously have a lot of money.
Yeah, because they want them to invest.
Right. So he sets up a brunch for them to do that. Now, while he's there talking to Dad, he sees Brenda in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I, honest to God, expected them to just go into, like, full-blown fucking on the kitchen table. I'm sorry.
You thought that was going to happen on this television show on Fox, okay?
No, but I mean, the way they were looking at each other was insane. Like, yeah. She's like, I wanted to thank you properly, and it's like, you know what she means. She said I never got to thank you properly. I did expect her to just drop out of frame down on her knees. Right?
Honestly, that was what I thought when she said that.
And I mean, they're looking at each other like they just want to, like, eat each other.
Right.
And then, like, they both say each other's name at the same time. It's like, just kiss. Just, you know you want to kiss. But
she does kiss him.
Well, yeah, but on the cheek.
On the cheek, yeah. But she does that thing where she kisses him on the cheek and kind of brushes the rest of her face as she backs up.
Yeah. Yeah, she was waiting for him to... Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're right. So there's a lot of sexual tension happening in this episode, like I said. Now, everybody's telling Steve, see the play, see the play, see the play, stop being a douche. Basically, because they want everyone to get along. I mean, it really seems like that's all it is. They just want everyone to get along.
I guess.
I think it's kind of shitty. Like, if he doesn't want to see the play, he went through a traumatizing event. He was dating this girl, and she almost killed herself in front of him. He shouldn't have to go see the damn play. I
thought the traumatizing event you were talking about was when he went to the doctor to be changed from a human being into a human asshole. I don't care about Steve or what what his traumatizing event was or anything like that. I don't care.
Okay.
And whether or not he sees the play, I don't care either. And I don't know why she does. I don't know why she's friends with him. He's Brandon's friend.
Well, I think they're all friends, and they've been, her and Brandon are twins, so they're in the same age group. They're going to have the same friends, and they've all been friends for, like, what, at least 4 years since they moved there?
Sure.
Because we're in season 4 of the show.
Where'd they move from?
I don't know.
Minnesota?
The Midwest, I believe.
I think they said Minnesota.
Okay, well, that's the Midwest.
I think they mentioned Minnesota at some point in this episode.
So, then, Brandon busts into the chancellor's office. Literally just can't take it anymore.
Goes by the secretary.
Yeah. Has made up his mind. Doesn't care what's happening. I'm talking to him.
Tells him off. Basically says, you know, I'm sorry you can't handle what your daughter is. And
Right.
I had to be the one to tell you. But I'm sick of, you know, what you're doing to me and everything. And I'm not going to be a delegate and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's insane. So, but then it turns out that he's like, why would you think you're not going? Of course you're going. I've just been busy. Hey.
Yeah, he's like, well, why wasn't my name in the book? And he goes, oh, it's a printing error.
Which is why you didn't get your tickets.
Right. And he's like, oh, I've just been really busy. And he's like, oh, you're my point man. You're you're going to be the lead on this. And, you know, I think that, you know, what you did with my daughter was great. Someone should have put her in her place. It seems it was very manipulative.
Yeah.
The way they wrote this. Because first of all, they set it up in the last episode with her saying that. And apparently she's just completely wrong, I guess.
She's just a bitch.
And then this episode, it's like he could have just stopped at any point and said, hey, I'll make a little time to meet with you. He doesn't have 5 minutes throughout the day for his point man on this really important thing.
Right.
To meet with him for a second when he's been wanting to meet all week.
And when he's apparently going out of town like the next day or something. I mean, by the end of the episode, he's leaving. Yeah,
if he hadn't been assertive enough to say, I want to talk to him, then he just wouldn't have gone, and would this whole thing have fallen through?
Right. I mean, it's crazy.
So it's a little ridiculous not to at least have a phone conversation. Like when you get off of work, just call up, because they've been meeting every episode up until this point. Just call him up on the phone and be, hey, Brandon, what do you want to talk to me about?
Yeah, I mean, I can't, it doesn't make sense. So, okay, now, Dylan and Kelly, this seems to almost come out of nowhere. I mean, I know she had her little flirting with Brandon, and he had his little flirting with Brenda, but I didn't see major issues necessarily to the point that they would say it out loud, but she's like, what's going on with us? If you take sex out of the relationship, we don't even have a relationship.
Right.
And
that's a lot of high school relationships.
Yeah, but they're not in high school.
It's true.
So, then they're talking about, like, maybe we can just forget everything that happened and try to work through it.
That's what Dylan says.
Yeah. Forget what, though? I mean, I don't get it.
I assume they mean the stuff with Brenda and the play and all that stuff and her bitchiness. I don't know.
I mean, it didn't seem like they were having that many fights. I mean, I guess we have commented they didn't seem like they had a great relationship a few times, but it seemed more like we as an audience know they don't have a great relationship. It didn't seem like they knew.
Yeah, that's true.
So they broke up. They ended up breaking up.
Yeah, because he says something about they agree that they're going to work it out, and then he says something about the investment in this dude that's going to save the environment, and she just makes a face, and then he says, "Oh, what did I say?" And then they start talking, and he says, "You know, you've been resentful of the the mom and this
anything that takes my attention from you."
Right.
Yeah.
So they break up.
Yeah. Well, and they should have, and I'm glad they did. Frankly.
Yeah, me too. Let's see how long it lasts, but yeah.
Yeah, and then Steve and Brenda make up because he comes to see her play.
Right.
So the only other thing is the side story with Donna and David.
Yeah.
I really don't care about that.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to be done, and I was going to say, oh, you missed one of the stories. Did you not write anything down about it? Because it's the most uninteresting character in the entire show.
I really did. And this was another one with the sexual tension.
For a brief second.
But it would seem flirty when he met this girl at the studio that Donna's working at, and she invited him.
Hey, that's okay though, right?
What?
That he was flirty with her.
No. That's real life. The internet is not real life.
You know, when you're typing on the internet, you're still in real life, right? You're not transporting yourself to some magical world.
Maybe I am.
That is... What are you talking about?
I could be a unicorn lady and you would have no idea.
What? What does that mean?
I like to play role-playing games online.
But you're still real.
But
it's still really
I'm
you
playing a character.
Okay. So, if you flirt in character, it's okay?
Well, yeah, it's like being in a play.
Okay. I'll kind of agree with that. But not if you're being yourself just over chat.
But how do I even know they're being themselves?
It doesn't matter.
Everyone
You're being
be,
yourself.
But everyone can be putting on a character. None of it's real.
This is the most ridiculous conversation I've ever had in my life.
Anyway, she invites David to
Jam.
Yeah, jam with the band. And she's like, it's my job to find the next big thing and like all this other flirty bullshit. But Donna comes to the jam session.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's obviously there's nothing actually happening here with him and this girl. But while he's jamming, the girls talk, and Donna agrees that he will perform as the opening act with these guys for this Babyface concert she's setting up.
Right, hip hop. Yeah, they go into the studio where what's her name? Not Shannon Doherty, the other one, Tori Spelling.
Yeah.
Where Tori Spelling works, and they say, "Oh, it's Hip Hop Central" or something like that. So it's Hip Hop Central filled with white people.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So what's really weird to me about the whole thing, though, is she agreed for him that he would do this, and
right.
like they're not even engaged, like they're not married.
So if
she's
they were
not his mom,
so if they were engaged, she could just dictate his life.
But I'm saying it's just more absurd because they're not at that big of a level of commitment in their relationship
right.
either. But
they're not even having sex,
right?
As we learned in the last episode.
But it turns out, I guess he had some kind of drug problem and was involved with some dude named Howard, and they all know each other from this time in his life, and he's like, no, I'm not going to keep, hanging out with these guys, because...
He says he's got a gram of orange juice.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. I assume that they're talking about cocaine, because, grams, but orange juice, that doesn't, I mean...
Wait, is it LSD? Is that one of the things?
LSD's not sold by the gram.
No, but orange juice. You take orange juice with it?
You can.
To, like, increase the effects?
No, it doesn't increase the effects.
Oh.
But you can, but I haven't really heard of that much. But...
Alright, drug people. if you
drug addicts out there
what
that have a hold of this tape.
To have a gram of orange juice, let us know.
Yeah, because cocaine's not orange.
It is not.
There's an O in the word cocaine, but no J. So I'm not sure. Is it referring to O.J. Simpson? How fast and powerful of a running back he was? And it'll make you feel like O.J. Simpson? That you could run like him? God, I fucking love O.J. Simpson. What a great running back.
No sports. Stop.
Well, he's an actor too. Naked Gun. Remember, we saw the Naked Gun
talk
movie.
about him being an actor.
Okay, well, I think he's going to be a big star. How about that? He's funny.
You don't, though.
What do you mean I don't?
Well, you're just talking about how great of a sports guy he is. So what?
He was a great sports guy, but now he's retired, and now he's an actor.
Okay.
Terrible on Monday Night Football. Great in the Naked Gun movies. Funny guy.
Okay.
I don't think that his name should be sullied by being associated with cocaine if that's what they're doing.
Well, we don't know, but it's some kind of drugs, and good for David. He stands up for himself and says he's not doing it because he doesn't want to be around that.
Yeah, you know what's really stupid, though? Is he still could have played with that band and just said, oh, I'm not into drugs anymore, guys. I don't need to do drugs to play keyboard in your band.
Right.
So I don't know why he didn't just do that.
Well, maybe it would be hard for him to be around it. Maybe he misses it. Maybe, he would feel like he wanted to do it if he saw them doing it.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. Too much of a temptation.
Right.
They could be doing it on stage. They could be drinking orange juice on stage or whatever the hell this is.
Don't you think they'd have to practice? I mean, they were talking about picking songs and stuff, and he'd have to spend some serious time with these guys.
I suppose.
So, yeah, he'd probably be around them when they were doing drugs at some point.
Well, he has the stupidest haircut and the blandest storyline of any character in this show.
I honestly wish that him and Donna just weren't even on here. We could make it a half-hour show.
Yes.
Just take them out.
Well, that was our episode of 90210. So now we're going to move on to the movie we watched.
Movie, TV miniseries, 6 hours of life. 8 hours of life, really.
Yeah. Commercials.
soul-sucking commercials.
We watched the TV miniseries The Stand by Stephen King wrote it. I've read it. Carol hasn't. Directed by Mick Garris and starring some dude named Gary Sinise. Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
We all remember her.
She looks good for however old she is.
Yeah, well, I think she's in her late 20s, early 30s. I don't know.
She looks good, though.
Anyway, also Rob Lowe makes an appearance. That dude from Coach that plays Dauber on Coach. Yeah, good job. Bill Faber. I don't know his name. His name's Bill something. It's another one of those. Remember when we did the Olympics? We talked about the Olympics.
Kinda.
And it was in Lillehammer, and they had all those Scandinavian words.
Yeah.
He's got one of those Scandinavian word last names. Okay. And I'm really starting to get annoyed with the Scandinavians.
Are you?
Yeah, it's because they spell things properly. Iceland, or whatever. I don't know, one of those.
One of those.
Finland.
You know, they speak a different language, so they are spelling things properly.
No, they're not spelling things properly.
Whatever, baby.
This is America. Speak English.
Wow.
Have an English last name. Change your name, Bill Faber.
You're being a dick.
What?
That's rude.
I mean, Steve.
Yes.
I'm pulling a Steve.
You're pulling a Steve.
Ian Ziering.
Anyway.
So he's in it, and there's some other people in it. I don't know. The guy from Parker Lewis Can't Lose is in it. I loved that show.
Oh, what's his name? Never mind.
What?
No, I was thinking of somebody that was not in it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. We should talk about people that weren't in it.
No.
It would be better acting.
We should not.
So, it was 4 days, obviously. Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday?
Sure.
I believe. And it was a thing. It happened. It existed.
Well, you read the book. How do you feel like it compared to the book?
It was not as good as the book.
No.
It was not even as close to as good as the book. They leave some pretty chilling things out, but that's probably good because nothing in this movie was scary in any way.
No, I mean, the worst scene in the whole movie was more cringeworthy. It was more...
There was a lot of cringeworthiness.
Yeah, I mean, it was more like just make you uneasy and queasy, but not scared.
So I'm going to lightning fast through this plot because obviously it was a lot of TV to watch.
Right.
A lot of television movie to watch. And it was a big event. I mean, it was hyped big time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this dude's at a military base with his family, some sort of military facility, and they're experimenting with some kind of super flu for biological warfare because, shadow government's got a shadow government. So it gets out and starts killing people. They get out and leave instead of like a gentleman staying there and dying, for his country to protect everyone else in the world. He takes his wife and his infant daughter and leaves.
Yeah, selfish assholes.
So they drive from, I think it's California, to Texas.
Okay.
Or something like that.
I know they said it was halfway across the country from wherever he started.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. And I don't think it was maybe it was in the East. I don't know. Or the Midwest or something. I don't know. Anyway, they drive from wherever they're at halfway across the country and they crash at a gas station in Texas. And that's where Gary Sinise and the rest of them are. He plays Stuart Redmond. And he crashes in there. He's dying. One guy says, it looks like cholera. And the wife and the daughter are dead.
Yeah, that was sad.
You didn't actually see them. They were at least respectful about that.
But the dad is thrown out of the car in this accident on the ground and just like, my wife and baby are sick. They need help. My wife and baby are sick. And it's like, he is obviously sick and dying himself.
Right.
And just in denial about the fact that they're dead. They've been dead. Ugh.
Lots of people die in this movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, obviously, lots of people die. Like 99% of the population of the globe dies. So it starts to get out. The government comes and they sequester them. They put them in a facility, a medical facility, where they're testing them and everything. People are dying. They make the government doctors and stuff cartoonishly evil.
Yeah.
For no reason. There's a way that this could have been written, and it was a lot better in the book. But there's a way that this could be written where they don't seem like such complete assholes. So, anyway, they do that, and then it was the dad from Alf too. The dad from Alf was the guy, the main doctor that was being a jerk. So anyway, they do that. They be jerks to them, and they all die except for Stu, and they don't know why. They want to test him to figure out why he's not dying. Why he's not even getting sick from this thing. So, they can't figure it out. And they never do. But, basically, all of this sets up that there are people throughout the country, and we see several of them. Molly Ringwald, who plays Franny Smith. Parker Lewis, who plays Harold Lauder. And we see, I don't remember the guy that plays Larry Underwood. But he's in it too. Laura San Giacomo plays Nadine Cross, and they meet up in New York. We see all these different groups of people, and we kind of get to know them a little bit. But there's part of the problem with this is there's too many characters.
Yeah,
there's so many characters you don't care about them. You don't really form any emotional connections to any of the characters. And that's part of the reason why the book is better. The book gives you a lot of time to get to know these characters. You hear their inner thoughts because it's a book. You really get to identify with them. And it makes it more of an emotional impact when things happen to them in the book. But here, there's so many characters, they have to really breeze through a lot of it.
And there's so much death that you're just kind of braced for it. You don't worry. And I think it kind of keeps you from wanting to be attached. Yeah.
And Ed Harris has a small role as the general that's supposed to be in charge of trying to contain this thing. Obviously, they don't. It spreads. They say it has a communicability of 99%, which I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean if you come in contact, any kind of contact, even walking by someone that has it, you have a 99% chance of getting it? Or if they sneeze, or just if you breathe in this virus, it's 99% chance that you'll be sickened with it.
Yeah, they never really say how it's passed.
Right. Well, they say it's the flu. It's like the flu, and most people will just think they've got the flu.
But then they die.
Right. It kills them. So anyway, they make up this government story and everything. I mean, all this goes to shit real quick, and then Ed Harris ends up shooting himself while pinning a note on his chest that says guilty. And it's one of those things where it doesn't have a super emotional connection either. Kathy Bates from Misery makes a small cameo in this where she plays Ray Flowers, a female radio host who is talking about how the government's shooting people, shooting pedestrians, burning bodies, all this stuff. And the military comes in there and ends up shooting and killing her.
On the air.
Yeah, so that she can't broadcast anymore, which is ridiculous because they were there in the room with her. Why shoot her while people are listening only to confirm everything that she's saying? Why not just go in there, grab her, because you're 5 large men, and physically pull her away from the recording devices and then turn it off? Right. It just seems ridiculous. And then you could have arrested her. She wasn't armed. There was no reason to shoot her.
Did they do that in the book, too?
I believe in the book it was a bit different. Ray Flowers was a guy. Oh. And I think it was... It might have been a radio show. I can't remember if it was a TV show or a radio show. But he was barricaded. And he had a gun, I believe. But he was barricaded in there, and they couldn't get in. They had to, break stuff in to get in and everything. And they did end up shooting him. But he had a gun, I believe, too. And he was, shooting at them. And it was more kind of than what she was doing, where she was just hey, the callers were calling in. It was hey, tell me what you've heard. And broadcasting it to everybody and saying, hang in there and all that kind of stuff. he was the one that was saying all, like, he was reporting the news basically. Like, this is the stuff that I've seen, this is what I've heard, this is what the government's doing, kind of thing. So it was a little bit different in the book. There were a lot of things that were slightly different in the book. But so everyone dies, and except for, you know, the small group that we are, you know, becoming acquainted with. And then we meet Randall Flagg, who starts gathering up people that all, you know, other people that have survived. And this is the fatal mistake with this movie. Is, no offense, Jamie Sheridan, if you happen to come across this tape, but the portrayal of Randall Flagg is terrible.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that has to do with acting. I think some of it's got to do with directing as well.
And costuming.
Oh, yeah. Mick Garris has directed Critters 2 prior to this movie. So when you've got the director from Critters 2, I don't know what else you can expect. Right. I know you're not going to get Steven Spielberg to make a made-for-TV movie, because it's a made-for-TV movie with a nothing budget. You know, the most they'll spend money on is to get name actors like Rob Lowe or Molly Ringwald to come in and do it, or Ray Walston to come in and do it. But I mean, you know, you're not going to see Meryl Streep do a made-for-TV movie or anything like that. I mean, those Hollywood people are not doing TV stuff. Okay. So I understand you're not going to get like a cream of the crop director, but I think you could get someone better than the director of Critters 2.
Maybe.
That's all I'm saying. But the problem is that Randall Flagg is not menacing or scary in this movie at all. He's sort of creepy.
Sort of, yeah.
But he doesn't really play it. I mean, it's not written or played the way that it should be. If you read the book, you would kind of get it, what he is. He's a usurper, an interloper, someone who's used to working behind the scenes. This Randall Flagg has appeared in a lot of different Stephen King books, short stories, things like that, with various aliases. Or is it alii?
I think it's aliases.
Theso?
Stop it.
Anyway, so he just doesn't play it right. He plays it too. He's very jovial, kind of, where he's sort of trying to play it like the happy prankster that has this dark side, like an abusive husband. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. Jamie Sheridan's performance reminds me of the charming abusive husband.
Yes.
In a like Lifetime movie.
Exactly.
And that's not Randall Flagg. Randall Flagg is a manifestation of pure evil.
Yeah, he definitely didn't come across that way.
So, they start having dreams about Mother Abigail, this 106-year-old black woman, or more accurately, this 45-year-old black woman under a ton of terrible old age makeup.
Right.
Who's at her house in Nebraska telling people to come because God is speaking directly to her. It explains in the book, it does not explain in the movie, but it explains in the book that she has heard God speak to her whole life. Mm-hmm. And not as in God works through me or anything like that. God literally talks to her. She prays, he talks back, and only she can hear it.
So she has schizophrenia.
No, she has some sort of gift. I mean, obviously, if someone claimed that in the real world, that's what we would say.
Yeah.
But as it becomes clear that everything that she says is accurate and everything, it becomes clear that God is actually physically talking to her.
Right.
Which is something God is able to do in this universe that Stephen King created. But, so they start having dreams. They start knowing that they need to go to Nebraska. They also, just for no reason, also start having psychic powers themselves. At one point, Stu knows somebody's dead, knows when somebody gets hurt. They all kind of know they have to go to Nebraska, mostly because of these dreams.
Yeah, it's because of the dreams.
I'll get to that later. If you look like you don't remember that part, it was very long.
Okay.
It was a long 4 days, but I'll get to it later. So anyway, the gist of it is that the good people are going to Nebraska and then later Boulder, Colorado, to be with Mother Abigail and start this new society, basically.
Right.
And the bad people are going to Las Vegas, Nevada, with Randall Flagg.
Sin City.
To basically, they're starting a society too. This is another bad part about the miniseries when it comes to the book. It makes it really clear that the people that go to Las Vegas are not all evil. Some of them are violent murderers or rapists or whatever, bad people. Some of them are just lost people.
Okay.
Drug addicts or people who want to do right but feel conflicted. A lot of them are just trying to build a society. And they'll justify things because of that. They start to, in Las Vegas, they go to the airport, not the airport, the Air Force Base, and they start working with the bombs, getting the planes ready and everything. And Randall Flagg tells them, we have to be able to defend ourselves. There are other people out there. They're going to have guns. There's lots of missiles and whatever spread across this whole country that no one's in charge of anymore. We have to be able to protect ourselves if anyone ever comes to attack us. He frames it in a very logical, nice way, but everything he's doing is the antithesis of that. But that's how he charms people. It's like people going towards Hitler.
Right.
Basically. Not every German person that lived in Germany during World War II, and not even every member of the Nazi Party, was a horrible person. If you weren't high up in the Nazi Party, you had no idea what they were doing. You were just like, I voted for the Nazis, and I live in Germany, and it's 1939. Those weren't all terrible people. Some of them just didn't know. Some of them were just seduced by what he was saying. So it's more of that than the way he portrays it. But that's another unfortunate thing, is we don't get to see the humanity of those people. They're just generic villains.
Yeah, just generic bad guys.
And
most of them dress in a way that makes you think they're bad guys. Unlike him.
Exactly. Yeah, most of them are wearing some sort of black. They're in leather, or some of the shirts that Miguel Ferrer wears as Lloyd Hendrick are ridiculous. The flowing silk shirts and stuff.
But no, he's always in that stupid jean jacket.
Yeah, it's something that he wore at the very beginning. He is described in the book in the very beginning as wearing that when he's walking down the road in Arizona to try to blend in.
Right.
But he doesn't stay in that for the entire book. He changes into other things, and yeah, his long mullet hair.
Oh God, his feathered mullet.
The whole thing's terrible. All of it's terrible. The CGI's terrible.
Yeah. When he turns into a monster, he doesn't look scary at all, except for when he's raping a girl.
Yeah, Laura San Giacomo.
That makes me so upset, because there is no reason for that. I mean, she was willing to have sex with him.
Yeah.
Until he did that. And then it turned into rape.
Yeah.
And then it scarred her forever. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think she was already on her way to being scarred. I mean, the way he got into her head was... I mean, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. But basically, we're not going to go through... Like I said, we're not going to go through the entire plot. If you're listening to this, you probably watched it. A lot of people, I'm sure, did watch it. But... Yeah, it's a good versus evil kind of thing, and this is another thing. I hate to keep going back to what the book did right that the movie did wrong.
That's the whole thing. Is like you shouldn't have to be explaining the movie by using the book.
I know that's another big failing.
Yeah.
But one thing that the book I think did really well, the movie doesn't, is that the book sets up first of all, you get to know the characters really well. In here, like I said before, there's too many characters, and we don't get emotionally attached to them. But in the book, you get to know the characters really well. You become emotionally invested in all the characters, even some of the bad guys. You feel sympathy for Lloyd. And when stuff starts coming crashing around, you want him to leave. You want him to be okay.
Okay.
Because of what you've learned about him throughout the book, but his loyalty to Flag is his downfall, basically. But anyways,
well, he says that in the movie too.
Yeah,
he wouldn't leave him.
He does, but it just doesn't connect.
No, none of it does. I think it's too much going on to be in that format. It should never have been taken from book.
They should have made it into a television series.
Maybe.
Instead of a movie, a series. I mean, I know they don't ever do this, but you could have a TV series that's designed to only last one season. Or designed to only last 2 seasons. It'd be like an extended miniseries.
Yeah.
Where you have it just an hour episode, and it's, I don't know, like 15, 20 episodes. And then you're done. And that's all you do. Now, they'll never do that because they don't make money doing stuff like that, apparently.
Well, I mean, that's like half what they did already, though. I mean,
what do you mean half what they did already?
I mean, they already did half of that. You're saying 16, 20 episodes. They did 8 hours in 4 episodes.
Yeah, and it was the movie wasn't awful. It was okay. But what I'm saying is, in 20 hours of television, they could have done it a lot better.
Yeah.
They could have built up a lot more. Think about how each episode at the beginning could focus on a character. And then you really get to know that character. You get to know where that character is. You get to know what's going on in the world through that character's eyes. And through each character, the virus progresses. This disease and this apocalypse progresses from each character that we see. Whoever we see first, whether it's Franny or Stu, probably Stu, based on the way that the book is formed.
Right.
Imagine if... See, this is what happens. They crash into the pump. Stu's there. They try to help. The guy dies. I think then we go to somebody else. But the next time we come back to Stu, the government's there at his house, arresting him. Or not arresting him, but, taking him to that hospital where they're quarantining everyone who they are pretty sure are going to die. And then we see him, we have a couple scenes with him in the hospital, then he gets out, and that's it. We haven't learned much of anything about him. Imagine episode 1, Stu, completely. He's there, it could be framed sort of like this was, where we see this guy leaving the facility. Then the next thing we see is him crashing into the pumps. Stu's there, we see Stu, he's emotionally disturbed by what he's seeing with his family dying. And then we see him go home. We see him with his girlfriend, maybe. We see him with his parents. Or anybody. And he talks to his friends. We see him in the town. We get to know who he is, what he believes in, and how everyone else interacts with him as this stuff starts. Then we leave him for the next episode. Go to Franny. It's been a little bit longer, another few days or whatever. The virus has gotten worse. And we see what's going on with her life. And we do that with every character in the first few episodes. Then you really get an emotional connection to all these characters. And as we come back to them and we see what's going on with their lives, it becomes dramatic.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think longer form. This book is too big for even 8 hours of movie.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem with it. That's the biggest problem with this. That and Randall Flagg.
Yeah, you end up with surface.
And there's a lot of bad acting.
Yes.
A lot of kind of over-the-top acting. The Miguel Ferrer's okay, although I didn't love his performance. Gary Sinise is fine in it. And then Molly Ringwald was not great, I didn't think.
I thought she did good.
Laura San Giacomo, yeah, exactly.
I mean, she definitely could have done better.
It was nice to see her in her bra. I mean, that was
You're a pig.
That was you're flirting with guys on the internet.
I am not. I'm just saying I don't think it would be cheating. I am not doing it.
Anyway, so that was the highlight for Laura San Giacomo's character. No, she did okay in parts. I don't know. And then everyone else just kind of there. They're not really doing much. Ray Walston is a great legendary actor, gives a fine performance, and that's about it.
Which character did he play?
He was Glenn, the old man.
Okay. Well, he wasn't in it that super long, was he?
No. But, he's trying. He's being a professional. While everyone else around him is phoning their performance in because it's a TV movie. So what happens is they end up, going into different camps like that, and they decide that they start to build the world back up the way it was. And Glenn mentions this, and it's sort of a theme of the book as well. And Glenn mentions it a few times about how it's dumb that they're just rebuilding everything the way it was.
Yeah.
That they have a chance to make a new kind of world, a new kind of country, a better one than we had. But instead, we're just going to turn on all the power and get the nuclear bombs all together and all this stuff. All these horrible weapons of war that we're just going to stockpile again when this is a second chance. Supposedly by God. That's the implication. So, in Vegas, that is what they're doing. They're doing all that stuff. And the two sides look similar. I mean, that delineation in the book is pretty clear that the two sides are beginning to resemble each other.
I think we should be playing a drinking game where you take a shot every time Mark says the book.
Yeah, probably. Probably should have started that earlier.
Right.
Anyway, so they decide that they need to scout them out and figure out what they're doing over there. So they send people over there. It never really comes of anything. Two of them die. Like, the judge, we never see what the judge does at all.
Yeah,
and then
we see him get killed.
Yeah, we see him get killed. That's it. We never see.
I don't think he made it there.
He did.
No, he was driving in a car. I think he
was driving
on his way.
He was driving away.
Oh, he was leaving. Okay.
Yeah. And then we see the girl. We never see what... We see that she started a relationship with Lloyd, but we never see any information she got from him or anything, or how she got in with Lloyd. And take a drink, because these are parts that are well fleshed out in the book. So then she ends up getting killed, or killing herself, so that she doesn't give away the third person, which is Bill Falwell playing a mentally challenged individual, or whatever. He's not. He's
mildly retarded.
Yeah, he has a 7-year-old's mentality, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It is sad, but
especially, when you realize he's been alone for a while, like when they first introduced this character, you imagine it's almost the same as a child having been alone on their own in this town.
Right. So anyway, then he's one of the other ones. He's the one that gets away, eventually. And Mother Abigail says that... Well, Franny's pregnant. Forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Franny reveals that she's pregnant. She got pregnant from her boyfriend at the beginning of the summer, and they broke up because her boyfriend didn't want to raise a child. And then he probably died of the flu. So, I guess he got what he deserved. So she's pregnant, and they're worried about it because they don't know if the baby's going to get the flu or not. So, there's an explosion, kills Nick. I'm not going to go through the whole thing.
There's too much to go through the whole thing.
So, the long story short, I know it's too late for that, but 4 of them are supposed to go there. 3 of them die. Stu's the only one that doesn't die. He's the only one that doesn't make it to Vegas. The Trash Can Man, who I haven't mentioned at all, and who's not really a huge part of this.
He's really not, yeah.
But Drink, he was a huge part of the book. So, he's like Flag's right-hand man, but he's a pyromaniac.
He's Flag's right-hand man?
Yeah.
I thought that
Lloyd's his top enforcer, but Trash Can Man's that's who Flag thinks is going to make all this go. That's his vision.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird.
He can't help himself. He's working around bombs all day. He plants a bomb to cause an explosion because he's a pyromaniac. Ends up killing one of their guys. And so, in order to try to make it up to Flag, he goes and tracks down where they keep the nuclear missiles. And he grabs one. Which apparently has a cracked case or something like that. Because he chains it to the back of an ATV. And he drives it back into Las Vegas. And by the time he gets there, his face is just melting off from radiation poisoning.
That's what happened to his skin. Okay, I did not understand that that's what was happening.
Yeah, and Drink in the book, they explain that it is a cracked case because an intact bomb like that wouldn't emit radiation in that way to kill someone like that or give someone that kind of radiation poisoning. So when he loads it up, he bangs it a little bit and he cracks the case and just thinks, whatever, He doesn't know he cracked the case, but you bang a nuclear missile, there were a bunch of other ones. He just could have grabbed another one. But anyway, so he brings it into Vegas, and the whole time he's saying, my life for you, this is for you, flag and everything. He brings it in. The two that are left that aren't killed, Larry and... I can't, it's been a while since I read the book, Drink, so I haven't... I don't remember his name, but he was so unremarkable and unmemorable in the movie that I can't remember his name either, and we just saw it. Something with an R, I think. Anyway, they're the only two left. They're about to be torn apart. What's it called? Drawn and quartered. Or just quartered, I guess. Because of their supposed crimes. Flags staging all this public execution for his bloodthirsty public. So, Trash Can Man comes in the middle of this with the nuclear weapon. And they're praying to God. Mother Abigail's speaking to him too. And then the hand of God literally comes out of the sky and grabs the nuclear missile and crushes it or whatever, makes it explode, and kills everyone. Kills everyone in Vegas, kills Flag, kills the good guys that were in Vegas, and that's it. They're all dead. So basically, I guess the idea was that God set this all up to restart the world, sort of like the Great Flood, kind of, but a little bit different, of Great Plague. And all the good people got together in one place, and then all the bad people gathered together in one place, and God knew, because God knows everything, that all this stuff would happen, so he knew that he'd be able to kill all the bad people in the world, or at least in the United States, because they'd all be together in one place. And now only the good people are left.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, that would be an interesting social experiment. See what
to
what
gather
happens.
up all the bad people and kill them all.
No, I'm saying I would just to see what happens.
It'd be
like,
a crime.
In the
Talk about Hitler.
Oh my God! In the world that
Next
Stephen
on Massive
King
Late Fee,
has
eugenics.
created, it would be interesting to see what happened 20 years later.
Yes, it would be, and we never go back.
Yeah.
He alludes to this world a couple other times, but we never fully go back.
Okay.
Maybe this will be one he goes back to at some point in one of his other books.
We'll see.
So, that is The Stand.
Not great.
No, it was not worth the time that it took to watch it. I think that you could make it... The problem is the alchemy, the formula, the stars aren't aligned to make this a good project for TV or film right now. You would need a situation where they're willing to do a series that's only 1 or 2 seasons and goes no farther, to have a concrete end date like that. You would need a series that, like the type of series that it would have to be, would be serialized instead of episodic. So that would have to be popular. That's not popular. You'd have to get good actors and good writers and good directors who don't work in TV. The best writers work in Hollywood, in the movies. The best actors work in Hollywood in the movies. The best directors work in Hollywood in the movies. They don't go to TV. There's not enough money in it. And it would have to be on... It would have to be like on HBO or something. It would have to be on a place where they don't show TV shows. It'd have to be on a place where you could get away with some nudity, some swearing, things like that.
Because God forbid you miss out on her bra again.
Well, no, they showed that on regular TV. They could do that on regular TV.
Or her breasts.
I'm not saying you have to see that. I'm just saying the things that happen in this book, Drink, are you need what would be a quote unquote R rating for a movie. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that on TV.
Right.
But you could do it on paid TV, like HBO. Because they have movies. They have R-rated movies on there.
Skinamax.
Yeah, you could do it on there. This book and this story is not an orgy.
I know, I'm just saying.
But anyway, so none of those things are in place. And I doubt they ever will be. I don't think the stars will ever align like that in order to create an environment where you could actually successfully launch this as a TV project.
Well, here's the thing, honey, is that you love this story and you love Stephen King so much that you're motivated to even think about how to make it work, whereas most people just look at it and say, it failed, let's move on. I mean, there's no reason to, like, bring it back and keep trying and trying again to get it right.
Yeah, well, I guess what's the point of even doing this show then? Why analyze anything?
No, but I'm just saying, I think that it does have a special place for you.
It does.
It does not for...
It's one of the best books that he's ever written. You should read the book. I know it's a long book.
It is a long book.
But you should read the book. It is worth it.
Well, I'll add it to the list.
Well, we will end this episode as we end every episode with our blockbuster pick of the week. This week, I have no blockbuster pick of the week.
I do.
Yeah, tell us what your blockbuster pick of the week is.
Look Who's Talking Now.
Yeah, a absolutely horrifyingly terrible, worse than the Stand film.
It is adorable. I love this movie.
Oh, God.
It's Christmas time. It's a family film. The dogs get the couple back together. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, the dogs can talk now.
Yes.
Or think in humanese.
Yes. And it's awesome. And it's cute.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, suspension of disbelief.
Ugh. You know what else is going to be?
Romantic comedy, you can watch this movie.
You know what I can believe? The suspension of John Travolta's career. That guy is done.
I don't think so.
Oh, absolutely. After this movie, he's done.
No.
What's he going to do? His career...
Whatever he wants.
No one's hiring him. His career is
He just
over.
made a movie 1 year ago.
Yeah, 1 year ago, he starred in an absolutely horrible sequel
with Kirstie Alley,
whose career is also probably over.
No.
Yes.
Maybe they need to make a sitcom for them to do together.
That's not going to happen.
With the dogs and the kids. Yes.
Yeah, it's people like you in charge of television, and that's why we can't have nice things. That's why we can't make The Stand.
Aw. I mean, that
sounds like a terrible show.
No, it does not. It's
talking dogs as the star of a show.
No, the dogs wouldn't be the stars, just like the dogs weren't really the stars of the movie. The stars of the movie were John Travolta and Kirstie Alley. The dogs just move things along.
Using star in a very loose term. John Travolta's career has been on a steady decline for quite a while. And this is the nail in the coffin to me. He would have to star, not necessarily star, but he would have to be in a groundbreaking, generational movie in order to get his career back. Someone would have to take a chance on him and say, I am going to resurrect your career by giving you the best part that has ever been written in one of the greatest movies of all time. And who's going to do that?
Any director.
Yeah, because any director can make a groundbreaking generational movie of all time.
I don't know, okay? Just, you're being all pessimistic and negative, and...
That's what I do.
I've had enough negativity this week.
Oh, wow. A lot of negativity this week in your life?
Yeah.
You want to talk about your actual life?
No.
Okay.
Speaking of, though, I've been having this nightmare where, somebody is sharing my life. Out there in the world, in the internet.
What are you talking about?
Like my diary, it's just out there for people to read. Little snippets of my personal thoughts and feelings. It's really scary. Can you imagine?
You've been having a nightmare that someone has been sharing your diary to the world.
Yeah.
Or whoever's on AOL chat.
Right.
Via the internet.
Yes. It was very scary.
That is frightening. Why anyone... Wow. That's such a... Yeah, that would be not... Okay, so obviously this is a dream. But that, just thinking about that would be horrifying. Could you imagine every... I mean, your diary is like your interpersonal thoughts, everything that you do throughout the day. Could you imagine on the internet is every place you've gone that day, any place, whatever you've thought, personal thoughts you've had, stuff you're struggling with,
who you're spending time with,
exactly.
What you're wearing,
what you're eating, all of that being on the internet, that kind of invasion of privacy.
Yeah, so it was
sounds
very
like
upsetting.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that is our show for the week. Come back next week when we will be talking about a movie that's not on TV and probably isn't as bad as The Stand.
Knock on wood.
Next week is the season finale of 90210.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Then we will be entering summer, and we will have to come up with some stuff to do to fill our time during summer. I'll just talk about Comedy Central every day.
No, you won't.
Wow. Okay. I see you. I see you working. So, that is our show. As always, tell a friend. Send this tape to a friend. Get everyone involved. Tell us how much you love us. Do all the things.
Or you hate us.
Do all the things that you know you can do to help us out and reach more people.
Bye.
See ya.